Have you ever wondered what's actually inside an artificial intelligence tool? You no doubt use one or more of them, such as ChatGPT or Gemini. You probably use a traditional generative text. But did you know that there's other types of AI available to you as a professional that you can use right now in your business? And to do this, I welcome Dean Mercado, the CEO of Online Marketing Muscle. He's our expert today, and he's going to help us see AI's real potential. Dean, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I'm glad to be here. Now, the question for all of you, am I Dean or am I AI? Oh, think about that, folks, because that's the kind of stuff that's coming down the pipe
I
very
I
quickly.
think I think if I knew what you had for breakfast as real Dean, I could ask AI Dean and he wouldn't know.
Yeah, possibly. But these days, you got these devices, they're all listening to you, they're all watching you. It's a little creepy, but it's the reality, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you perceive it.
It is. I know, Dean, we don't want to get too technical on our topic today, but I do want to say that for myself, I used AI for quite a while to just put in a question, do a prompt, it would spit something out. I never got deeper into the possibilities until one day I clicked like more options and I discovered something. Why don't you talk about some of the other things, the other parts of AI that people need to know about?
I'd love to preface this, if I may, though, Jeff, with one big point. Now, the purpose of AI is twofold, right? One, it's got to make you money, or two, it's got to save you time. You know, the key word that applies to both of those is leverage. It has to help you get leverage on your business. If it's not doing that, then it's kind of a hobby, a toy, or some. It's a nice to have, not a need to have. So I caution all of you, as you can very easily, the best of us, easily get drawn down these rabbit holes. Be conscious of why you're looking to use that tool and stay on point and make sure that you're proving that it does make you money or save you time. So that being said, I mean, you want to add to that, Jeff? Am I off target, on target with that? How do you
No,
feel
you're right
about
on
that?
target. And
Good.
and I think it helps with creativity, it helps with a lot of things we need, but you're right, those are the two main things that it has to do. Otherwise, why do it?
Absolutely. It could be the biggest distraction that you've ever had in your life. You know, kind of like how social media was when it first came out. Big distraction, right?
Mhm.
So, a lot of AI today, where it stands today, I mean, let's just put it out there that the AI that exists is probably 50 years beyond what they're showing us exists. But the stuff that they're showing us exists, as a business owner, I find myself using it a lot for things like research and using it a lot for things like content creation, right? In one way, shape, or form. And that research could come in many different ways. Things we would typically have used a type of research assistant for, maybe we don't have to. ChatGPT becomes a best friend in a lot of areas like that. And there are many other tools like ChatGPT. That's just one, right? But when it comes to content creation, you have the side of it where you have not only text or text generation, but you have video generation, you have image generation, all of that. And there are a number of tools that exist for any of those. And that's part of the challenge. And there are new tools coming out every single day. We'll maybe touch on a few of those today and kind of wet the whistle a little bit and talk a little bit about what's possible, if that makes sense. So I always like to apply it to real life business scenario. How might I use something like that? So I might start it off with, like, a lot of people like to post things to social media, right? That's one way, right? The social media. So I might need an AI tool to help me write the copy or the content that I'm looking to put out there, right? I may use another AI tool to generate an image that I want associated with that particular copy, right? Um, that's one very simple model that's very easily done in numerous tools. Right now, ChatGPT does great with the content, but not great with the images. You might use a DALL-E, DALL-E, or Open. I think it's Open. What is it? Open AI or Open something AI these days. Who knows? They're all called something similar, right? But DALL-E, you search for that, you'll find it. That creates stunning images, AI generated images, right? There are a lot of other tools out there like Jasper, one that I use, that you can speak to it and tell it what kind of imagery you want, and it will actually generate an image for your blog post, for your social media post, for whatever you want to use it for, right? The cool thing about it is it's royalty free. And that's important because even just the other day, I got harassed by some organization in Europe saying that I was using an image on my website without proper authorization. And me being from New York, the New York comes out right away and I'm ready for a fight. I'm like, I call bull on that one, and I have to dig and dig and dig and dig to provide the license that I had for that image, because I do not believe in using imagery unless I'm licensed to do so. But you can get a license through like Canva or many other imagery sources. But that's real life. Now, I get harassed, and the next step is lawyers, right? So when you do this stuff, you have to make sure that what you're doing, you're able to actually use legitimately. Now, with the AI generated stuff, you're kind of free at this point. It's the wild, wild west again. So not a bad place, but we are seeing the lawsuits are starting to come through, where the big record companies are starting to sue. The big corporations are starting to sue because they're getting cut out of the pie, and they don't like that, right? But for us small business owners, what are we to do? We make sure we're using the right tools, right? So if I'm generating content, I might use a Jasper. Jasper can do not only the writing or help me do the writing, but it can generate the images that I tell it. I could tell it something crazy, create an image for me of Benjamin Franklin wearing a Hawaiian lei, playing a ukulele on the beach in Hawaii, and it will do that. And that sounds insane, but you know what? You can really customize your look and your approach so that you still are unique. It allows you to still maintain your uniqueness, your differentiators. So Canva has come a long way as well. Canva is a big tool I use in my company because you can not only use stock photos, but you can actually do all kinds of crazy editing, including video stuff, where I can have it create videos out of things. I could have it create images. If Jeff, you and I were standing next to each other, we took a picture together, I could just click you in the image and have you removed. And it would replace the background as it thinks the background would be. And it'll look like I'm standing there alone. This stuff exists. They've been using this. They have been using this in the media and in places where you don't really realize that you're not really seeing what you think you're seeing, right? Or you're seeing what you think you're seeing, but it's not what really happened. Mm-hmm. And it's a little crazy and a little out there, but that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with. So, when it comes to business, though, you can create websites now using AI. There are tools out there like 10web.io. There are tools out there called durable.co. You can generate a website. My company used to create websites, and I use the word used to because I question the validity of how necessary it is for everyday small business owners to have the kind of websites we were creating and whether or not it's cost effective. So again, as a business owner, I'm always looking to see what's out there and adjust, right? I see where things are going. And that's what you need to do too, as people watching this. You got to understand where things are going and adjust with that. Now, I also look at video is huge. If you don't have a video tool that you're using as far as with AI, you need to be. I'd go after either Canva and or maybe Opus Clip is another one that's out there that will, and Jeff, this is great for you. You do podcasts, video podcasts, right? Mm-hmm. You take that and you drop it into Opus Clip and it will chop it up and pull out the best moments of your video, what it deems as the best moments. And automatically it'll subtitle them and everything. So it'll do something for you in minutes that maybe if we were doing that manually a few short months ago, we might have been doing that manually, that might have taken us hours, days. Now it's done in minutes, seconds and minutes. And you may use something like that. I don't know, but that's one tool, that is out there. And there are dozens others like that. I'm not an affiliate of them. I'm not promoting them. I'm just telling you things that we toy around with and we use, in different aspects of our business. So video is where it's at. You've got to find the right AI tools to help you generate video content, especially short form video content. People have really, really short attention spans. So it's a matter of being able to, if I take this segment that we're doing now, and let's say it ends up being 15, 20 minutes, I could chop that into a dozen, 30-second clips, and I might get more viewership on those 30-second clips than I do on the big clip. But the intention of the smaller clips are to grasp enough attention where somebody might want to say, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Is there more? Give me more, Absolutely. And then they'll look for the bigger piece. So video, definitely where it's at. If you're into the generative AI, where you're doing like ChatGPT, don't forget about some of the alternatives out there. Some of the big ones out there. Claude is another big one, right? By a company called Anthropic. Phenomenal, right? For that. I would also look toward Copilot. Microsoft's Copilot. Oh my goodness, what they're doing with that tool right now, where you can actually have it. And I do a lot of presentations, right? Like slide deck presentations. I could have that generate a slide deck for me by just telling it what I want. And it connects right in with Microsoft's version. I forget, PowerPoint. I haven't used PowerPoint in years, but it hooks right into PowerPoint. It'll generate the slides right in PowerPoint.
Yeah, Copilot works right in with all the applications of Microsoft.
Insane, right? Mm-hmm. It's insane when you think about it. It is like having a lunatic assistant, that can do almost anything you ask it to do. What we need to become proficient at is asking. We need to become proficient at getting specific and knowing how to ask for what we want specifically. Exactly. Mm-hmm. The more precise we are, the better the output is going to be, right? So, and we can go on and on and on here. Putting chatbots on your website. There are numerous tools out there that will do that. Tidio is one of them. They have a tool called, I think it's called Lyro or Lyro, Lyro, something like that you can, however they pronounce. These things are getting crazy to pronounce these days, if you haven't noticed it, because all the domain names, the good ones, are all taken, so that everybody's misspelling everything these days. Either that or we're just getting dumber as a human race. I don't know, one or the other.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yes, exactly. But that's a cool tool that you can use as a chatbot that'll answer and interact with your website visitors and answer their questions. And when it can't, it'll pass it on to a person internally in your team to handle it from there. So again, it's about not getting sucked in by the bright, shiny objects that we keep seeing coming out every day. It's understanding what the problem is you want to solve in your business. Where's the pain? And then what tools can solve that pain? So if I have a video problem creating video, I'm going to look for a couple of video tools. If I have a problem creating images, I'm looking for image tools. If I have a problem creating content, I'm looking at the ChatGPTs and Claudes and Copilots of the world. And there are more than just those. Perplexity is another one. You can go on Perplexity and you could have it generate an entire web page for you, and you could leave it hosted on Perplexity, or you can copy it and paste it on your website if you'd like to. And it will actually even cite the sources for you. So if it's pulling from specific sources, it'll cite that for you, just like having a backlink on your website to somebody else who you got information from. It's good practice in SEO. Same concept, right? It's just showing you where things are going as opposed to where they've been. Perplexity by many, and this ties into our last conversation, Jeff, it's really like a search engine, but a customized one. I'm going to it and I'm saying, hey, I'm researching this topic and I need an article on this that I can learn from. Great. You put that in, you tell it exactly what you want. It'll do exactly what you ask it for. Create images for me, or create an infographic for me to include with that. It'll create that for you. It's really insane when you think about it, but these are the waters that we're navigating right now. And I don't care what business you're in, if you're not at least sniffing around in these waters and asking the questions of how does this apply to me, right? You're going to be in trouble in a very, very quick amount of time, because with these tools that I mentioned, I can easily outpace and outperform somebody of my similar intellect, who's not using this stuff, because it's a differentiator. It's a game changer. It's a duplicator. Clone the owner. That's our system. Clone the owner. It duplicates us.
Mhm.
I can't say though what that holds in the future, in terms of, it gets a little scary. And I get that. It's like a beast, and we keep feeding the beast. And I get that. But you know what? It's the game in town right now. It's like being in a Wild Wild West, but not having a holster with a gun,
I think it's going to be okay though, because we think about in the past, if you were to go back 15, 20 years and talk about some of the things we used 5 years ago,
Yes, you're right.
people would be like, no, that would be terrible. But we adapt. We use
That's
it.
right.
Thinking
That's right.
about the internet and social media and all the tools we have now, we adapt. But
Yeah.
I'll say this, Dean, you mentioned a lot of different products out there. I kind of stick with ChatGPT because I pay the monthly fee, and you hit the explore, and all the things you described, the DALI, the video, the images, the research, it's all right there. And most
Yeah.
of them are free as part of that. So it's all kind of combined there. But I just wonder, you kind of alluded to this, when you generate text, when you generate an image or a video, do you really own that? I mean, that's in a way you do, because you're just asking it to do something. It's your AI. But when you
Right.
publish that on a website or in a newsletter or whatever it is it really yours?
Correct. Now, here's my take on it. Now, I'm not an attorney, so this is
There's a
just my take
caveat.
on it,
No, not an
right?
attorney.
And I say this because there are sites out there, like one called Lumi, Lummi, probably .ai or whatever. And that's a stock photography, a royalty-free stock photography site that are all AI generated images by the users who've created AI images on other platforms, right? So they're offered up on Lumi basically as royalty free because they don't really own them, right? However, if I generate an image for myself, let's say I use Jasper and I generate an image for myself and I use it on my website and my website's copywritten, then I look at that as ownership because my website's copywritten, right? So if I'm publishing it first on my website, it's copywritten. If somebody copies that and uses it on theirs, yeah, I have a case.
True, true.
That's how I would look at it at this point.
I agree. And I know you can take some of these tools and you can take an image, any image you want, whether you own it or not. You can
Right.
put it in the tool and say, give me one like this.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
be totally different. It won't be the
Absolutely.
same image. So there's that as well. So if you see
Yeah.
something out there you like, you want something similar, you can ask AI to make it. You can do you can do it in description or put the image in there. I just
Yeah.
wonder, what are the attorneys thinking?
Oh, I mean, they're going to have a field day at some point. There are probably a bunch of them chomping at the bit right now
Mhm.
to get their hands on these because it means somebody's going to be paying them a lot of money to litigate these cases, But much like everything in history, and this is where I really appreciate your statement earlier, I have faith in humanity also. And I think that it'll all work out. It always does. And it's just like I'm a musician. Also, I play drums. I played drums 40 years. No music these days is new. Everything's been done by somebody before. You have a variation of it, a spin on it, but everything is influenced by something.
Mm.
So to say that this is 100% unique or whatever, good luck. Good luck proving that. Almost any music that's generated these days I mean, we all have been influenced by the music we listen to as kids, teenagers, even our adult life. You know, same goes with art. We're influenced by the artists we appreciate, right? Video, we're influenced by the people on video that we enjoy watching, you know, so everything stems from somewhere.
True. But you did mention you received a notice from a European firm saying that you had a picture on your website. That takes you down a rabbit hole of a time suck because I've
No
received
doubt.
those as well. You purchase the picture from, let's say, Getty or
Right.
iStock Photo.
Right.
Then you get the, oh, that's my image. You need to pay this. So now you got time to spend to prove what you shouldn't have to prove, but you do have to do it. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you're right. And this is an argument and probably a conversation for another day of you better be very organized. You better be very organized and you better be on the up and up. Make sure that you're doing the right thing all the time, right? Understand where the opportunities are for you to be captured, cornered, and basically abused, because that's what it started to feel like. And that's why my New York came out immediately. And I was like, I'd rather spend the few hours and prove them wrong, because they went as far as saying, this is what we think that you owe us based on the fact that you've been using this image since 2019 and you must have made this amount of money from it. Who are you to say,
They're the ones hoping you'll send a check or
that's right.
a money
And a lot of
transfer.
people will. So,
Right.
again, I'm not an attorney, but I would suggest to anybody, you don't send the check to that. You know, you look to tighten up the ship a little bit, though.
Mhm.
You look to see, okay, yeah, I post a lot of content. Yes, I use a lot of images. I best know where that's coming from. If I don't, I'm opening myself up for problems down the road for some charlatan to come after me and say, hey, you owe me. Everyone wants a piece of your action. So, as a business owner, be diligent, be smart, right? Cover your rear end, so to speak. Use these tools. They're great, but make sure you have a business case for it.
Mhm.
Make sure it makes sense. And
Absolutely.
and I agree, Jeff, even just with ChatGPT, you can do a heck of a lot of good stuff with one tool. One
Right.
tool.
And I'm not sure how that all works, Dean, with my subscription to ChatGPT and all the things. There's 50, 100 options inside that are
Right.
other companies, other developers. And obviously that's just one AI tool that I use. I use Copilot as well. But there's other things too. You can research websites. You can ask a certain tool to go out and do an industry report, or
Absolutely.
you can check out your competition and say, what are
Absolutely.
the elements of their website that works for them that I can do? There's so many
Absolutely.
things.
Here's a cool one right on that note that I recently came across. It's called Agent.ai, and it's made by one of the co-founders of HubSpot. And on that tool, if you open up a free account, and right now it's free to use, especially if you're a B2B, so if you're a commercial cleaning company and you want to research a company that you're interested in going after, trying to get their business, you can go and use the tool on agent.io, whatever it was, and you could plug in that company's name, URL, and it will give you the whole skinny on that company.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just amazing. And again, it's a tool that I trust because it comes from the guys at HubSpot. So, I mean, I'll trust it. They're a good company, they're a solid company, have been around a long time. They're
Yeah.
just sharp guys. But that stuff exists. They even have a tool on there, that same tool set on that agent.io, whatever it is, that'll actually analyze your website for you and tell you a handful of ideas that you can use to improve it.
You could
Free.
dump an Excel document in there and ask it to do a report.
Exactly. And this is the kind of stuff that people have to realize this stuff exists. On a similar note, there's another one that I found, DocuAsk. So if you got a big like legal document or something like that, you could dump it into that tool and it will actually help you understand what that thing is. It'll summarize it for you. It'll bring out the main points, the things you need to be concerned with. I mean, there's so much that you can do. But again, it starts with understanding what your problem is. And then
Yeah, I would
is there a
say
tool for this?
think about your top challenges, Think about how AI might be able to help with those challenges. Start small, use it. I know, Dean, for myself in media, we have to be careful not to use AI generated text. I mean, we just don't publish that.
Right.
Sometimes it gets sent to us. We do have a checker for that. So
Yes.
there's ways to check, is it AI or is it not? But I think in marketing, it's kind of Wild West. It's open because you're using information that's about your company. It's marketing jargon, words, whatever it is. But true editorial content, yeah, to me, it's a consideration to maybe avoid that.
I firmly agree. And I think that that's an easy place for people to get lost and get sucked into and get
Mhm.
lazy. And as a business coach, I'm very often telling people you have to have a brand voice. You know, once you start sounding like everybody else, then why are people going to bother with you?
Oh, and you
That
can
brand
tell.
voice, yeah, and you
You can
can
tell.
tell.
You
There are
can tell.
certain words that ChatGPT uses over and over and over again. It
I
just
call it
does.
flowery words.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it, and a lot of it is just junk.
Mhm.
But the better you get at prompting it,
That's true.
the better the output you're going to get. And you can actually tell it, don't use these words, or don't use this kind of language, or don't use that. And it'll understand, it learns, especially if you're using like the $20 a month paid ChatGPT version.
And that's the
It's pretty
point.
smart.
It does figure out what you want, and the prompts and the thumbs up and down help. When you regenerate something, do we do it better? It's asking you so it can learn what you want it to do.
Absolutely. So really, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? But again, I'm just going to preface and say, you know what? Make sure you have a business case. Make sure you have a purpose in mind of what you need it to do and that it has an opportunity to make you money or save you time. If it's not doing that for you, look elsewhere. But don't be afraid. Embrace, right? Try it on and see where it can take you. Best advice.